Hello! So, as many of you know, this year's US Go Congress has been moved completely online, and all in all, I think the American Go Association is doing a great job of keeping as much as they can of the experience online. From what I can see, and I haven't actually participated in any real US Go Congresses before, but in particular, the Open tournament is going to be played completely on OGS and is open for all players and even free to participate in. So I thought this was a great opportunity to play some serious games, even though some of the runs are going to be in the middle of the night for me. That's kind of a small inconvenience compared to, usually traveling to a different country. So I thought I would just make some short videos recapping my games in this tournament. I also participated yesterday in the 9x9 tournament. Not sure if I'm going to make videos about those games. Those are a bit quicker, more for fun. But I think at least there's four. So there are 4 rounds in the Ego Open, as it's called. And I think I'll make a quick review video about each one of them. So I think all you need to know about the rules is that, so it's AGA rules, 7.5 Komi, and time settings are 1 hour main time and 5 times 30 seconds BOME. So the games can take up to 3 hours, depending. I think this game in particular took like 2.5 hours or so. So let's see how I did. I'm playing white, and I open with dual 3-4 points against black 2 star points. And black takes a knight's move enclosure. And here I thought for a bit, there were many options, but in the end I decided to just take a large knight's enclosure of my own. I think this should be a fine opening. I kind of prefer having, I think this enclosure is a little bit better than this one, so I think I'm doing okay. Black approaches, I just back off. And black plays this extension. Now at this point I just thought that there are some big points on the top, but I always find this sort of approach move to be quite effective. It's a bit annoying for black to have this sort of, I can slide here later or jump in, and it's a bit annoying to handle in an efficient way. In the game, black attached here, but then suddenly switched to, like normally with this approach, when white kicks, you would just extend, and then white has to fix this shape somehow. And we might continue the game from here. But this move took me by surprise a bit. I think the aim here is to fix this. Like for instance, if I Hane, probably black would extend, but even assume like black plays this, it's sort of like black got to protect here in center. Probably black would extend here and make some shape in another way. So I think that's the aim of this move. I decided to come in here, take this vital point, leave some weaknesses along this side, but my idea here is that I'm threatening to play some quite severe Hane on this side, so black sort of has to come back again, and then I can come back on Hane, and I'm building solid territory on the left, and also keeping black a little bit weak here. This was another move I found surprising, to play from this side rather than, for instance, extending here. So with this, I play this Atari, and black starts this sort of co-shape. And I think the aim here is always to in the end get this Atari to make some nice influence on the outside for black. And I think, like so far, I think the result is slightly good for me locally, but this is a little bit annoying to handle actually. We played this is sort of code that it's hard to know how seriously you should take it, if you should capture the cone every move or if you can just leave it. I begin by just capturing the ko. Not because like my corner needs help immediately or something like that, but just because letting black have this Atari is quite big. So this makes my shape stronger, and black needs to think about how to handle this. Black goes down here, so this opens up the artery of this cut. But still I can just, I could always Atari from the bottom, but I think I decide here to extend to keep a little bit more points in this area. I think I could probably, you know, if I Tanuki, I don't know where I would Tanuki, but I think this cut is probably okay, but it's a little bit problematic with like this Atari and, you know, if black comes out with these stones, I need to worry about this Han in the future. So yeah, I decided to spend a move here, which now this is not as big a problem, and also it looks like I'm starting to make some good points here in the lower left. So then black takes the ko. I played this move, which is not, like there are no super big ko threats in this opening, as usual. Normally there are no big ko threats in the opening. I could play a move like this, but this looks like it could be a bad exchange. So I play this sort of local move to make sure that even if, for instance, black gets this Atari, I might have some chance of keeping black cut. And this is also threatening. There's some possibility of this corner actually becoming weak in the future. If black gets to capture this one stone, and then later on, let's see, how should we show this? Let's say that black captures this one stone somehow, and then also gets like this Atari connect. Now the corner is locally dead. So I thought it was also might be worthwhile to add a move here just to make sure that this corner is never in danger of dying, no matter what happens with this ko. Black takes this Atari, which is very big. I capture. So now black can use this cut as ko threats. So maybe one other option earlier on was, instead of extending here, maybe I could have connected here. It's a little bit worse towards the center, but has much better Aji on the left. And we're also going to see, even though this cut is never, like I managed to connect up, we're going to see how this Aji in the end actually, black manages to use it in a really good way. Actually in two different good ways, so yeah, that might have been a good idea to just connect solidly actually. Okay, so yeah, black cuts as a ko threat, and I thought this is way too big to give up, so I Atari. And like at this point, I don't want to keep, like letting black capture here is very, very big, so I just connect. And black Tanukis. So still, like black is quite strong here, black is quite strong here. So this ko in itself is not so important. It's more about these forcing moves in the center area. So I thought, like I feel like I've been a bit, black takes a big point here, playing quite quickly. So I thought I feel like I need to get something out of this area locally. So I cut directly. This has the effect of also, like after this cut, I could always like capture here in almost absolute center if I wanted to. So that's one effect of sort of winning this ko in advance, but also I'll probably instead want to use these forcing moves from the outside. Instead of Ataring like this wouldn't do much for me locally and would just make black stronger on the outside, so I'll probably want to try to use this Atari somehow, for instance. But first I just push out. Black harness here, which now I'm kind of wanting to aim at this cut. But I can't do it directly because black will just capture. So first I Hane once, and here black can't really, like for instance, cut like this because I just Atari. So black just extends. And I think here I thought for quite a long time about like what's the best shape here. And then I play this hanging connection. And I think the idea here is to either make shape on the top, for instance with like if black turns here, maybe I Tanuki this directly and just make shape on the top like this. So black plays from the top. And I thought this was an interesting choice of shape. I would probably think this is slightly better. Because in the game I still have this option, even though like when black Atari is here, I have to give up these 2 stones. I think this gives me a nice result later on. I can't do it right away, but I guess if black wanted to play this, I would have played like this to not give me that option. Still, there's like no problem here. But I think this looks good to always threaten take the shape point and threaten to make short of liberties on these stones. But this is also like, it's still a very close, it's an even game. I'm not sure actually. It didn't ask Katago about which one was better. And black is building quite a lot of points on the top, so I need to handle this group and hopefully keep some pressure on this group. I need to get some compensation. Like before I give up these cutting stones, which I am going to do later, I need to get some forcing moves against this group. So I push, black harness here, so now there's quite a few problems with this cut. I don't want to cut at this point because black can just Atari and capture. But at this point when I cut, black can't Atari like this, and black also can't Atari like this because the cutting stones die. So when I cut here, black is forced to just extend. Here I was quite happy with the result I got because I thought, okay, I both want this Atari and I kind of like the idea of getting this move in Sente. So capture this 1 stone, threatening to capture the cutting stones. And as it turns out, I don't think I should be able to get both in Sente, but I played this one. And when black plays in this way, I do get both in Sente. So let's see what I was thinking. Yeah, one thing black could have done here is to play, I think black could play like this Atari and like this. And it seems like it might be slightly better, but I'm not actually sure. We're going to see black use this Aji in a very nice way at the end of the game, so I won't say that this is a bad move, but I was happy with getting both sides, both getting to capture this 1 stone in Sente and getting to Atari here. And there's still some problems left with me. I still think black could come out like this, but there's a little bit to worry about with like this Atari and this. It's not working right away probably. At least combined with the problems on the left here. I don't want to give up these stones. But black was worried enough about that he played here. And now I get to Atari, and closing like this. Black can't really even Atari out here because I would play like this. And I think this group is in danger of dying. I will be able to handle this group. So black is forced to just capture like this. Like this. And here at this point I have like over 90% according to Katago, with having enclosed black like this. It's a very nice result, but I need to be able to handle all my cutting points on the outside. So I have these cutting points here. I think one possibility is to just connect one of these immediately. You know, something like this. And it will probably be a good enough game. But I was slightly greedy and I wanted to also do this stuff on the top. So my thinking is that now that this group is completely alive, it has 2 clear eyes. These 2 cutting stones are actually not that important. So when I push it through like this, I can let black capture these 2 cutting stones and it doesn't make a big difference. And I broke through on the top. So I thought this was a brilliant idea, but actually now I'm like I was about 10 points ahead before, now it's completely even, according to Katago. Because the problem is that now I open up all these weaknesses in my own shape here. And it's actually really annoying to, I just thought, oh, I'll play a move to like fix my cutting points, but if I just connect, it feels really slow and it leaves like peeps no matter how I do it. So I wanted to play some more active move. Ended up going with this one, but now there's still Aji with this cut. It's not completely gone. Like this is locally a net, but when black Atari is here, if I want to keep these 2 stones captured, I would need to give this up because like this black can come out. So in the end, let's see, we did that in a slightly different order. black first plays just one forcing move, then goes for this cut. And yeah, I decide to net, and when black Ataris, like one option would be to just keep these stones captured, but I thought I didn't really like this. I wanted to keep some more influence here. Like this, just this capture opens up a lot of problems actually with these stones, since black can extend here in the future. So I connected and thought, okay, so black can escape with these stones, but I'm able to get this squeeze. And still I'm feeling quite okay about the game, but now there's actually some problems with black running out this stone later, so it's slightly better for black reality at this point. But I thought I had gotten quite strong with this group. It feels like it's quite strong. It's quite a lot of solidly connected stones. But I'm having some real trouble actually fixing this cut appropriately. For instance, let's see, I was at this point, I was reading like that this cut, probably black can't cut directly, like there's probably some good way for me to handle this, but my plan in the game was to net, and this actually doesn't work. I think I realized like on the next move. This looks like it should be a net, but black can go down here and I can't cut. So yeah, I think this just fails for me. Actually, can I do this one? Oh, no, then can black can push out like this. So, you know, I might be able to live locally, but it's not going to be worth it. So, like when black pushes here, extend, now it's temporarily fixed like this. But I don't want black to get some annoying peep in this area, so I thought I would play this peep, and if black just responds, then I feel like I've made some good shape here. Black resists a bit, pushing in and making me worry about this cutting point, which turns out to be a big problem. Actually, I thought it would be okay with all my strength around here, but probably at this point this was a mistake. I should have maybe... Not quite sure what to do. Like my thinking here is that this opens up some problems in the corner. For instance, like if I push like this and black wants to capture this 2 stones locally, I could Atari and jump here, but actually this is a standard Tsuji where black can cut in the corner. And like the best I can do is to save these stones, but black still escapes with this. So this is not threatening anything severe locally, even in the case where black plays like as safely as possible. Black could also, of course, play maybe from this side. So like the most possible follow-up from this move is sort of like I get to like connect this stone up in center. When I play here, black is forced to play on the inside, maybe you could think. So I don't really like this jump. It's threatening to come down here and make some points, but when black jumps in, actually it's not centered because now I have to worry about this cutting point again. Before this point, if black cuts right now, I could just Atari, and I don't think black can save these stones. I can squeeze like this. But when black has a stone here, now this is suddenly no longer working, and this was a really headache actually trying to fix this. I ended up attaching. Black pushes in, which felt a little bit like a thank you move, because now, okay, now my cut is gone. It wasn't actually completely fixed, even with this move. I played here, which again I thought was a mistake in the game, but as it turns out, it's probably okay, because I'm still not... Like, I can capture this one stone. But at this point, black could still Atari from this side, and like I don't have probably just play this one. I don't have enough eye shape to live locally, so probably the group won't die. I still have some space to run here, but for black to be able to keep attacking this while also making points on top here, would probably be game over. I think black didn't see this one. I didn't, because my thinking was that my descending, here is threatening to push through here. But of course, that doesn't really matter if black also can connect up on this side. So that was left on the board for a really long time. I think we both didn't realize how important that was. So black plays away to the bottom, and now this is really annoying because now this is threatening both a local great shape move here to attach up, connect to this stone, and also to run out this one. So I was even slightly worried about black running this out directly. Maybe I can just give them up, but that would be really painful. And the other option is to just come out like this. And actually, in the game, I was just focused on the fact that I'm not sure about at this point, I think black can play this Hane. And feels like, I don't know, it feels like black is one step ahead in this, or black is one step ahead in this fight locally. Black has some more RJ to work with. And once again, coming out with this stone, maybe black should start instead of running out. Maybe black can just start with coming out here, make sure that I'm actually going to save this. It would be very big to give them up. And then I don't think I can handle this when black comes out here. But this is also a very annoying way of making me now kind of have to protect up here, I think. So I played this move, trying to indirectly fix the cut. And once again here I'm trying to, now I can actually play a net if black tries to come out. So this is fixing the cut while also aiming at making use of the shorter liberties on these stones. But here, now I see that when black comes out here, which turns out to be sort of, I can fix the side in center, but black has this center move to save the stones. So if I connect here, now I'm just disconnected with this whole group, and it looks really bad for me. So I'm ignoring these stones for now and trying to handle this group first. Also trying to keep open the possibility of connecting here later on and attacking this group. So I'm going to try some stuff on the bottom, which turns out not to work, but I kind of wanted to get this move and force black to connect up here, but we'll see that soon. First I play try to make use of the short of liberties up here. And now at this point really see Katago start worrying about now when black has gotten this move, this group is actually about to die when black plays an Atari here. So at this point I think it was saying I should play here or something. But of course we are both not really concerned about that right now. We're too focused on this local fight. So now here I think I actually have surprisingly a good percentage here. So maybe what I was saying about this group being completely close to dying is not entirely correct. There still seems to be a little bit of RG around this area, with these stones being, potential of these stones being cut off and quite weak. So Katago is giving me 77% at this point. But I need to find a way to just stay alive with both this group and this group. And in the game I created a new problem for myself. I thought the idea behind this move is to, once again, I thought a move around here is my center, so I thought this would be able to connect up nicely. Now when I play here, if black would be forced to just come back and defend submissively, then I would be happy with this result, I think. But black resisted quite strongly. Black plays his Hane, then attaches here. And now, directly if black plays this attach, I would just Atari out like this. And it looks very good for me. So I had read that, but I hadn't read that black can Hane first. I don't want to play, I'm kind of forced to play from this direction. I need to keep the possibility of connecting here alive if I want this to mean anything, this threat. If black can just kill this at any time, it's like if I cut like this, then it's like, you know, this cut is threatening to also capture these stones. It seems very annoying, and also there's lots of agi with black coming out like this. But now I can no longer play like this because black comes out and Atari and I'm separated. So I played this, thinking that, okay, I want to save the group on the bottom and I'll just somehow handle the group on the top. But this is where the game really goes downhill for me, because even though I can save the group on the bottom quite easily, I'm really hurting this other group. And at this point I should still just live on the top, and I probably can still live on the bottom, but it cost me a lot of points to do so. So I convinced myself that no, I have to save the group on the bottom and I'll just have to survive on top. But actually when black plays here, it's just completely dead. There's not much to do. I hadn't quite realized. Like I saw this is sort of move that at this point I saw that, oh, black can play here, but I don't know what to do about it, so I just ignored it, and then black played there, and I was really sad. Because now, of course, like I can capture this one stone, but it's a false eye, and black is super strong on the right. So at this point, it's basically game over. This is actually too big to give up. I, of course, couldn't count it accurately in the game, but I knew this was too big. In actuality, I seem to be about 35 points behind, so it's really, really big. Play some forcing moves and try to find something here. And in the end, I do get a little bit back, but it's not enough. So I try to make use of this agi from earlier. Black tries to capture these two stones, but at this point I can combine the fact that these stones are a bit short on liberties with the fact that these stones are a bit short on liberties. So I cut like this, and I think if black, for instance, Atari is from this side, I could push in like this, and here I could capture these stones. So black can't actually save everything. Black is forced to save these stones, and I can, at this point I could just capture like this, but I wanted to, in that case black can connect up underneath, so I wanted to make it difficult for black to connect underneath. That's why I pushed once here, and then came back here. And at this point, like I play this Hane once again to make it harder for black to connect up. But black could just play this forcing move, and let's see, I guess Hane, and black can still connect up like this. Actually, I can't connect here, so yeah, black is connected. But here black messed up a little bit by playing, when I played Hane, black plays his throwing, which I'm not sure if there was some misread here. But here I can just capture these two stones. So this was like a big jump in points, but I'm still way behind. More than 20 points even after this. So let's just zip through to the interesting part. Like at this point, now black doesn't really need to find anything special to win, but black finds this really nice agi on the left here, so I thought I need to show this as well. This is a really nice way of black using the fact, like threatening both sides at the same time here. So if you want to try to post a video and try to find a nice move for black. And of course, like this is not it would be enough for black to just play this Hane and like threaten like this, maybe like this. This is definitely enough for black to win. But what black played in the game was even more annoying. Black found this move, which threatens, like on this side, it threatens to save these stones like this, which would be quite big. And when I protect against that by capturing this, black can cut here and start this go. And I think like I saw this coming from this point I realized what black was trying to do, but I don't think I can actually stop it. I think this move is working to get either one of those things. For instance, like I could try... This is not even working locally to... But one thought I had was like, if this is working to threaten this side, black needs to connect here, and then I come back here, but even then black can just cut here. But yeah, black could even play like this, I guess. Yeah. So this was a really nice Tetsuji. And we'll get into this ko. Black has quite a few ko threats on the right here, which is annoying. I can't afford to give back any points. So we played some random ko threats. I have a few ko threats against... Like, I got this one ko threat threatening to save my dead group. And then this ko threat threatening to, like, Atari here, and black connects. I get to connect up to my group, so black would have to capture like this. And I only lost a little bit in the ko, so that was sort of... And probably it's sort of an even trade, because I also got a little bit back locally here. So black answered that one. But then I don't really have... I have this ko threat up right. I have some ko threat here. But due to black having so many ko threats locally in this area, I'm forced eventually to play this move, which is not really a real ko threat. My last hope is that after I capture here, that black is going to die up top, and it's not actually possible to kill it. I'm pretty sure. After looking at it for a little while together with Katoko, I think it's actually completely live after black black plays one forcing move first and then captures here. So all I had read out in the game, of course I was in Biomi at this point, I didn't read it very deeply, but all I had read out was that like I can't peep like this because, or let's say I Atari and peep like this, then the problem is that black makes a second eye here. So I thought at this point that it would be better to extend out here, and if black were to capture like this, then now I could kill like this. But of course black doesn't do that. Black takes this shape point and now it's alive. So I'm capture, and yeah, this shape is alive. So let's quickly look at what I could have done instead. I could have slightly stronger would be something like Atari and take this point. Once again, black can take this shape point. I can go down here. This is sort of a common shape to make sure that it's hard for black to make this into a real eye, because if black plays from this side, I can Atari here. Black plays from this side, I Atari here. So this looks quite effective, but black goes down here. And at this point, it looks like it should be a ko. But there is actually a way for black to avoid a ko here. So once again, if you want to, you can pause the video and try to find it. The only way for black to live. I'm pretty sure, like I could have made a mistake here, but I think this is correct. I think this is the only move that lives. If black plays here, if white plays here, black can make a real eye over here, and this will still be a real eye. And if white plays from this side, black will ignore the 3 stones and make another eye like this. So I get a little bit of compensation back, but black is completely alive, doesn't need to worry about any ko threats and so on. And if black plays anything else, for instance this move, it looks like it does the same thing. White Atari is here, black lives. Atari is here, black lives, but actually white has a nice Tetsuji here to get a ko, which is to play this one. Black has a capture, this one. If black connects, then it's dead, so black has to capture, and now white can Atari, and it's dead. So at this point, like black should try to make an eye here, and it's a ko. And like there are other similar variations. Here's the same thing. So yeah, but at this point black can still live, so actually I thought I might have missed some way of killing it, but it looks like no matter how I play, black can actually live completely. Or miss some way of at least making a ko, which would be... It's always nice when you bind to get a ko, because there's some possibility that your opponent will mess up the ko threats and you'll make something happen. But okay, so now even after like getting a little bit of compensation here, it's not nearly enough. I'm still 20 points behind. Black plays a few safe moves in the end game, so I make like a few points back. For instance, at this point, black plays this completely necessary defense in the corner. So at this point, I get some big moves here. And in the end, I lost by 17.5 points. So all in all, like I had, maybe I can show the, let's see, that. You can see the graph. Like in the opening, I did quite well after this local result here. This is quite good for me. And I'm, like I said, about 90%. If you, like, let's say like 8 points ahead or so. But this was not as good idea as I thought it was. And we have a quite even game. But I do manage to handle this somewhat well, so at this point it's still a good game for white. I'm a few points ahead, but I didn't quite, like in these complications here, I should still be able to handle this, but I wasn't. I got myself into too much trouble with starting this stuff on the bottom. And after I managed to die in the with this group, it's basically game over from the computer standpoint. From my standpoint, I still thought, like for instance, there's still I forgot to mention that if I do manage to kill this group after this ko threat, let's say black plays here, this is actually Katogoy saying that I'm like 2 points ahead. So this would be big enough compensation. So that's why like I didn't resign. There's still, even though I'm way behind, there was still some possibility of some big mistake like this. But my opponent played very well, and yeah, we stayed steady at 20 points behind to the end of the game. So that turned out slightly longer than I planned on, but hopefully it was still interesting to watch. Like I said, I think I will make similar videos for the other rounds, probably. So stay tuned for those. Thank you for watching.